Ada problem seperti itu lebih
Wow.
banyak. Menjadi orang aneh di negeri ini kan susah, Pak. Menjadi orang aneh di Indonesia kan susah.
Anda merasa kok Anda aneh?
Saya merasa aneh dan saya disebut aneh juga nggak masalah. Saya pejuang, Pak.
Malah bangga kan?
Saya pejuang. Saya percaya bahwa orang kalau memulai, orang itu pionir.
Ya.
Dia pasti susahnya bukan main.
Dan selalu dianggap aneh kan?
Selalu dia
Semua
nggak aneh
pionir kan
dan
aneh.
punya banyak musuh pionir itu sudah pasti. Saya udah merasa kalau saya harus memulai dan saya mungkin memang saya harus mulai. Saya punya banyak musuh dan itu saya tahu.
Anda sudah siap untuk itu ya?
Saya sudah siap beberapa tahun. Ketika waktu pertama kali buka dan penuh kecelakaan itu antara siap dan tidak. Tapi sudah bertahun-tahun ke belakang ini, saya jadi pionir. Saya tahu saya harus berkorban banyak. Saya mendapat masalah dari lingkungan. Kalau sekedar dianggap aneh, itu nggak apa-apa. Tapi orang jahat itu...
I look forward to speaking... Wait, to speaking? To verb ing? How is that possible? Let's find out. So, most verbs are followed by to verb, verb ing, or a noun. For example, like. I like to eat pizza. I like eating pizza. I like pizza. And there are some words that always have to before the object. Let's look at a few examples. To look forward to something, which means that you are happy about a future event. I'm looking forward to my trip. She's looking forward to the concert. To commit to something, or to be committed to something, which means to decide, to focus, and work hard on something. He is committed to his marriage. We are committed to our customers. To be opposed to something, which means that you are against something or you disagree with it. We are opposed to the new policies. I am opposed to that idea. Okay, but what about verb ing? Well, let's think about the different ways that we can use verb ing. Sometimes it's the continuous form of a verb. For example, I am speaking. You are listening. She has been reading. And sometimes it's a gerund. What's a gerund? A gerund is when we use verb ing as the subject or object of a sentence, not as the main verb. And it works just like a noun. For example, Natalie likes reading. The main verb is likes. Reading is the object. Because reading is the object, not the main verb, reading, in this example, is a gerund. Ahmed enjoys painting. The main verb is enjoyed. Painting is the object. Because painting is the object, not the main verb, in this example, painting is a gerund. Learning a language requires hard work. The main verb is requires. Learning is the subject. Because learning is the subject, not the main verb, in this example, learning is a gerund. Why did I just explain that? I still haven't said anything about to verb ing. I explained that because you need to understand what a gerund is, if you want to understand why sometimes we use to verb ing. So now, here is the main point of this video. We use to verb ing when we have a verb that is always followed by to noun. But we want the object to be a verb, an action, instead of a noun. Because we can't use a regular verb in this situation, we need to use a gerund to change the verb into a noun. Let's look at some examples with the words that we talked about in the beginning. I look forward to meeting you. We are looking forward to working with you. She was looking forward to taking a break. I am committed to improving my English. He was committed to helping the poor. This group is committed to assisting refugees. I am opposed to lying. She is opposed to attending long meetings. Some people are opposed to paying taxes. So yeah, that's why sometimes you will see or hear to verb ing. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. There are a lot of ways to use the word get in English. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most common ways that we use it. We often use get to show change, and we do this with get noun and get adjective. We use get noun to show change from not having something to having something. Maybe you worked to get something. For example, I've gotten a job. I didn't have a job, but I attended some interviews and now I do have a job. Maybe you bought something. For example, I've gotten a new car. I didn't have this car before, but I paid for it and now I do have it. Or maybe you just received something from someone. For example, I've gotten a letter in the mail. I didn't have this letter before, but someone sent it to me and now I do have it. In those three examples, I used present perfect tense to keep the explanation simple. But now let's look at some different tenses. We get all of our herbs from our garden, so they are very fresh. We got a lot of complaints last month, so we need to be very careful this month. I'm going to get some milk from the store. Do we need anything else? I'm getting a lot of mosquito bites. Do you have any bug spray? A lot of teachers say that get something means obtain something. But I don't like to explain a simple word with a more difficult word. That's why I say that get something means to change from not having something to having something. Next, get adjective is also about change, but it's about change from not being something to being something. It basically means become. I got sick. This means that at first I wasn't sick, but that changed, and then I was sick. He got tall. This means that at first he wasn't tall, but that changed, and then he was tall. And again, if we want to focus on how something is different now, we can use present perfect tense. You have gotten so tall. This means that before, you were not very tall, but clearly that has changed and now you are tall. She has gotten very wise. This means that before, she was not very wise, but that has changed and now she is. And let's look at a few more examples in other tenses. You're going to get cold. You should wear a jacket. You're not cold now, but that's going to change. If you get hungry, there's some food in the fridge. You're not hungry now, but that might change. It's getting late. I should go home now. It's not very late yet, but that's going to change. It will be soon. Also, because I know that people are going to ask, I want to explain two final things in this video. One, I am American, and we often use gotten for the third form of get. So, in America, we typically say get, got, gotten. British people usually say get, got, got. 2. When I say get, it sounds like get, but when some people say it, it sounds like get. There are Americans who say get, and there are Americans who say get. Likewise, there are British people who say get, and there are British people who say get. So feel free to pronounce it whichever way you want. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching. Pick up, clean up, tidy up, straighten up, wipe up, sweep up, mop up, and wash up. Today, you are going to learn about 8 phrasal verbs with the word up that you can use to talk about housework. Pick up, clean up, tidy up, and straighten up are all pretty similar, so we are going to start with these 4. Pick up and clean up can be used for both rooms and objects, and they are not about cleaning or removing dirt. They are about moving things to make the room look nicer. If you have many things on your floor or on your desk, pick up your room or clean up your room mean take those things and put them in their correct locations so that the room looks nicer. If there are dirty socks on the floor, take those dirty socks and put them in the laundry basket. If there are books on your bed or on your desk, take those books and put them on the bookshelf. But maybe we don't care about the books. We only care about the socks. Instead of saying pick up your room or clean up your room, we could say pick up your socks or clean up your socks. Straighten up and tidy up have basically the same meaning as pick up or clean up. However, we usually only use tidy up and straighten up for whole rooms or whole areas, not for individual objects. We probably wouldn't say straighten up your socks or tidy up your socks. One other difference is that both clean up and tidy up can be used without an object after them. The other two cannot. You can say, let's tidy up, or let's clean up, but you can't say, let's pick up, or let's straighten up. You would need to say, let's pick up something, or let's straighten up something. Also, if you spill a food or liquid, you would use clean up. You would not use the other 3 in that situation. If you use a cloth, a paper towel, or a sponge to clean up something that you have spilled, then we can use the phrasal verb wipe up. Please wipe up the milk that you spilled on the table. If you use a broom to clean up something that is on the floor, for example, hair, dust, or leaves, you can use sweep up. And the past tense form of sweep is swept. So, yesterday I swept up some leaves that were by the door. If you use a mop to clean up a liquid that is on the floor, you can use mop up. There's water on the floor. Please be careful. I'm going to mop it up in one moment. Wash up means different things in British English and American English. In British English, wash up means to wash the dishes, but in American English, wash up means to wash your hands and or your face with soap and water. So an American person might say, I've been outside working all day. I'm going to wash up before dinner. And a British person might say, my sink is full of dirty dishes. I need to wash up. If all of these phrasal verbs seem a bit confusing right now, don't worry, they are confusing. Watch the video one more time, take some notes, practice writing some sentences with the phrasal verbs, look online for more examples with the phrasal verbs, and keep on listening to English every day. Don't stress too much about the differences between these phrasal verbs today. Just keep on learning, try your best, make some mistakes, don't give up, and with time, the differences will become more and more clear to you. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Today, we are talking about wrong, accident, mistake, error, and typo. Wrong is an adjective, and it is the opposite of right or correct. Information can be wrong, and people can be wrong. An accident is when something bad and unplanned or unexpected happens. A mistake is when you decide to do something, but you make a bad decision. Error is similar to mistake and accident, but it's more formal and it's usually used with computers. When you spell something wrong because you aren't being careful, that is a typo. But let's look at all of that in more detail. So again, wrong is usually an adjective, and it means that something is incorrect, something is not right, something is not true. Information can be wrong, and people can be wrong. If you say, Teacher Mike is from England, that is wrong, because I am not from England, I am from the United States. And we can say, that is wrong, or we can say, you are wrong, because you said the thing that was wrong. An accident is basically when someone does something that they didn't plan to do, and it has bad results. Accidents usually happen because someone doesn't have enough skill or isn't being careful. If someone is holding a glass in their hand, but they're not being careful and they drop the glass and it breaks, that is an accident. They didn't plan to drop the glass, and they weren't thinking about the glass breaking. The whole situation was unexpected and unplanned, therefore it was an accident. A mistake is when someone decides to do something, but they make a bad decision. And mistakes are similar to accidents, because they often happen when someone doesn't have enough skill or isn't being careful. They can also happen because someone has bad information. Again, with accidents, there's usually no decision. There's usually no planning. The whole situation is a surprise. But with a mistake, someone knows about the situation, and they decide to do something. That's the main difference between a mistake and an accident. Let's look at a few examples to see if you can decide whether they are accidents or mistakes. I'm running in the park and I fall on the ground and hurt myself. What do you think? Was that an accident or a mistake? If you said accident, you are correct, because there was no decision to fall on the ground. Everything was unplanned and unexpected. I decide that I want to drive really fast in my new car, and a police officer stops me and gives me a ticket. What do you think? Driving really fast, was that a mistake or an accident? If you said mistake, you are correct. Driving really fast was something that I decided to do. I made a bad decision. But maybe you drive a new car for the first time, and you don't know that this is a really fast car. So you try to go slowly, but the car goes very fast. You tried to drive slowly. You never decided to go fast. Going fast was unplanned and unexpected, therefore it was an accident. Sometimes we spell words wrong when we are typing. And sometimes this is an accident, and sometimes it's a mistake. If you know how to spell a word, but you're typing quickly and you're not being careful, so you spell it wrong. What do you think? Is that a mistake or an accident? It's an accident because you didn't decide to spell it that way. It just happened because you weren't being careful. However, although this really was an accident, when we talk about writing, typing, or data, we almost always say mistake, even if it was not something that we decided to do. We never say spelling accident. We always say spelling mistake. We never say there are accidents in your report. We always say there are mistakes in your report. And when we have spelling mistakes that really are accidents, they just happened because we were not being careful, we were typing too fast, we can call those typos. If you spell a word wrong because you don't know how to spell it, that is not a typo. That is just a spelling mistake. And we also have the word error. And error is basically a more formal word that we usually use mostly with computers, systems, etc. We don't usually use it for things that humans do. However, when we talk about language and language learning, we do use the word error. English teachers need to be able to understand when something is a mistake and when it is an error. When we talk about language, an error is something that someone says incorrectly because they don't know that it's incorrect. A mistake is something that we know is incorrect, but we still say it incorrectly. If you say, "she eat pizza," because you don't know that it should be "she eats pizza," that is an error. If you know that it should be "she eats pizza," but sometimes you still say "she eat pizza" just because you don't practice speaking enough, that is a mistake. We don't usually interrupt students to correct their mistakes during a conversation, because often they already know that they made the mistake, and they will try to not make it again in the future. However, when a student makes an error, when they say something wrong and it's clear that they don't know that it's wrong, that is when we usually will interrupt them to give them feedback because we know that they really need it. That's a lot of information, but here are the main things that I want you to remember today. Wrong is an adjective, and it is the opposite of right, correct, or true. Information can be wrong, and people can be wrong. An accident is when something bad and unplanned or unexpected happens. A mistake is when you decide to do something, but you make a bad decision. Error is more formal and usually used with computers. When you spell something wrong just because you aren't being careful, that is called a typo. Anyway, I hope this video was useful and not too confusing. If it was useful, please feel free to give it a like and leave a comment. And if you are interested in more videos like this one, please feel free to subscribe to my channel because I do usually have 3 to 5 new videos each week. Thank you for watching.